Wanted to welcome you all here for the signing. This is a letter of intent day for Sam Shearin. And before I get started, I just wanted to acknowledge the distinguished guest that we have here. Jeff Colson is one of both Brendan and Sam's coach from back in the day, and he's all the way out from Greenfield, Mass. For those of you who know geography, Western Mass. So it wasn't a short trip, but he ventured all the way out to be here on this special day for Sam. Sam's dad, Michael, right next to Sam. Mom Patty. And brother Brendan, along with mom number 2 behind the camera taking the pictures, Christy Manship, who's been in a little part. And also, before we get started, kick it off, I get to a few words and what this is all about. Wanted to thank Adam McCune behind the camera for GTV and coming in and recognizing us today. For those of you who want to look at it after, it'll be edited, hopefully, because I'll need a lot of editing. It'll be on YouTube at some point when he gets done with it, making it look pretty. But thank you, Adam, for being here. Now, what is this all about? The National Letter of Intent. You can pull it right off the website. That's what I did. National Letter of Intent is a binding agreement between the prospective student-athlete, Sam Shearin, and the National Letter of Intent member institution, which in this case is Lehigh University. Lehigh University, for those of you who don't know, you see it a little bit up here. It's a very prestigious university. Next to the Ivy League, it is right there. Patriot League schools, very strong academically as well as athletically. Last year, in fact, the lacrosse team, which Sam is going to be playing for next spring, not this spring, but next spring, we still get them for one more year, they were ranked as high as 14th in the country last year in Division I lacrosse. So that's what we're here for. The prospect, the student athlete, will agree to attend the institution for one full year. It's successive agreements of 1 year each, so for 4 years. And the institution agrees to provide athletic financial aid for 1 academic year, again, in 4 successive years. I'm going to include this, but I'm sure this will not take place, and at least I don't want to jinx anyone. But a penalty, if you were to break this, he'd have to go to the university, not play, and be a part of the university for 1 year before he could go anywhere else. So once he signs this, it's a binding agreement that he's going to Lehigh. Okay? He's going to be a Mountain Hawk. He's wearing the garb, brown, and like I said, very strong program. We're very pleased. This is probably our 6th signing that we've had in the library. We've never had any signings of this degree with this many spectators, but we welcome you all. We're going to definitely have to chop up the cake very small, but that's a good thing. One last thing I forget to mention, Mom and Dad were a big part of pushing lacrosse in the gate here at Goffstown, in the Goffstown School District. They were part of a bigger group that pulled it into the school board and petitioned for this sport. So they were a big part of that and an impetus behind that. I didn't want to forget that as well. So at this point, I'm going to lean on Principal McBride. He's going to kind of follow up. Sorry, before I do that, last thing. Sam, just from a personal standpoint, I haven't seen a student athlete in this school, probably goes back to Tom Foote, my first year, that was more religious about getting into the weight room, training, and being at the top level. His name is up on that board. I know Mr. McBride's going to mention some of that. I don't want to steal his thunder, but I've been so impressed by the way he's gone about his business, not only in the weight room, on the field, in the classroom. This is just a testament to what he's done in the 4 years here. He's left an indelible mark that it's not just going to be forgotten tomorrow. He's done a great job. I respect him and I thank him for all that hard work. He's going to be a 3-sport athlete at the end of his time after this winter and spring. What does that mean? 12 seasons in high school. He's played on a team in all 12 seasons. And typically each year there's about a half a dozen in the senior class. Last year we had a big number of 10. So those aren't a dime a dozen. It's not something to just look at shortly. It's very important, and I commend him for all the hard work and thank him. So.
Thank you, Mr. Fountain. And some of my remarks will be a teeny bit redundant, but it's worth mentioning. Again, I believe never had this many students at a signing, so thank you so much for coming, and boy, does Sam deserve it. I would start right up at the top again. Sam's parents are as good as any parents that I've seen come through Goffstown High School, and clearly lacrosse is here partly and or significantly because of Mike and Patty Shearin. So thank you for that, for Sam and Brendan, but also for all the lacrosse players at Goffstown High School. So thank you so much. Ironically, running from a meeting at the NHIA to be here, I gave up backroom chicken tenders, which was a good decision to give up the tenders to be here. I drove by the beautiful homestead that many of you probably know. It's a beautiful place. And the first thing I did was call Sam Brendan. So I was going to do this anyways. For the past 10 years, I've screwed up their names. So for those of you who do not know, Brendan was a significant scholar athlete here at Goffstown High School before Sam went on to Clarkson University, had a very distinguished collegiate career. And this is a very, very disciplined, smart, organized family. So congratulations, Brendan, on your success. Though it's Sam's day today. Mr. Fountain mentioned it. Every season, Sam will play when spring hits, which is so rare, and he's so dedicated. Clearly, I would echo his remarks. No one I've seen spend more time in the fitness center here at Goffstown High School, and I'm so happy to have so many student athletes in front of us. And those who are not student athletes, you will never regret spending time in the fitness center. It will make you feel better, and you will do better in life. So please continue to get in there. I think it will be helpful. I have incredibly well-prepared remarks that came from the Shearin household here, so it's pretty hard to screw up. I want to share a few more thoughts. All-state lacrosse player as a sophomore and a junior. No pressure this year. Sam, sportsmanship award winner as a lacrosse junior, and boy, do we appreciate and respect sportsmanship at Goffstown High School, and Sam is a model scholar athlete. Lehigh, Mr. Fountain mentioned a few things. I'm going to give you a few more statistics that are so important, and you can clearly see beautiful, beautiful institution. There are roughly 29,000 people that apply for 2,000 spots at Lehigh. So again, we'll say it again. 29,000 people want to go to Lehigh. 2,000 are accepted in. Sam is lucky to be one of the 2,000 who are going to be able to matriculate to Lehigh next year as a scholar athlete. I should have asked ahead of time when I'm going to do this. Sam's bright. You know that? Yeah. So every time we have these, there's a common theme that they spend a lot of time working on athletics, but they also spend even more time working on academics. So I'll just give you some numbers. Can I share? I can share, right? So SAT combined score 1940. I'm super scoring that. So 670, 670, 600. Strong student, works extremely hard. And as Mr. Fountain mentioned, besides the Ivy League, you're talking the top to make it into the Patriot League. And Lehigh clearly is an outstanding university. And I think this is U.S. News and World Report. 1,800, so 1,800 colleges and universities. They're ranked 33rd in the last ranking. So you're talking an elite institution. Path to Lehigh, and again, no pressure. So I can do the same, or did you want to share? How did you get to?
I attended a recruiting camp there, 2 summers ago, summer going into my junior year, and played pretty well there. They invited me back for a fall showcase. I played pretty well there. Then I talked to them a little bit more, and I went down for an overnight visit last winter, the winter during my junior year. I stayed overnight. They had a game the next day. I stayed for the game. Then after the game, I met with the coach, and he offered me a commitment.
A few additional highlights for Sam. Sophomore year, he was a Hobie Leadership candidate. Junior and senior year, he's been a gold member. National Honor Society inductee and member. As Mr. Fountain mentioned, a member of the 1,000-pound club. What does that mean?
Deadlifted, squatted, and benched a combination of over 1,000 pounds.
And to again give you, how many people who have come through Goffstown High School are part of the 1,000-pound club? Yeah, it's pretty elite company, and you're above 1,000 now too, right?
1130, I think.
How many are in the 1,100 pound? 2 or 3 again. So you're talking pretty rare. You can, those of you who see him all the time, you know. But if I'm not going to ask him to take his sweatshirt off, but this is PG. Is that he has put in time to get stronger. As a former college coach, that is the #1 thing you can do as a student athlete if you want to play in college. Is you need to get stronger, because the first thing you're going to notice when you get to college is everyone is good. What the difference is they're faster and stronger. That is the difference typically between college and high school. And Sam has placed himself in a great situation to be able to compete at that level. And last but not least, before I ask if someone here has additional remarks, I wanted to mention that in June of 2013, Sam was named a 2013 Bryan National High School All-American and represented the New England team at the 2013 Bryan National Lacrosse Classic held in Boyd's, Maryland that same summer. Clearly, a distinguished scholar athlete with some, and the beauty is, as Mr. Fountain mentioned as well, we still have him for the winter and in the spring as well. Big hopes with lacrosse this spring. And for those who do not remember, I made it to the finals the past 2 years and lost out. Congratulations, kudos. Would anyone else like to say a word or two before Sam does the signing?
I'd like to thank just a lot of people before I do this, because there's a lot of people that I wouldn't be able to do this without. My friends and teammates over the past 4 years, you guys all inspired me in the classroom, on the sports field, to always do my best. All the faculty and teachers helped me get the grades I've been able to get into Lehigh. Obviously, academics is a big part of it. All my coaches, Coach Huff, Coach Lewis, Coach Gratton, really pushed me to do the best I could in athletics. The safety addition, couldn't have done without her helping me to find an institution that fits me both academically, athletically, and just the fit overall. Jeff Colson, he's probably the person who helped me the most to get to where I am today. I definitely couldn't have done without him. Thank Brendan. He was my first real coach. I basically learned 99% of things I know from him. And lastly, I just thank my mom and dad for driving me all over the East Coast. Thanks for feeding me. Thanks for everything and believing in me before I believed in myself. So, thank you.
So before everyone runs back to class, I think it is time. Sam?
Thank you, everybody.